Here,
Thank
So-
you.
okay. Sylvia, do you want me to keep track of who's in the meeting?
Actually, at this point, we're gonna wait a few minutes because we're not that many people.
No, I know, but
Um,
do you want me to do you want me to record who's in the meeting, who comes to the meeting for the minutes? You've been
Yeah,
having me
you
write
put it
down.
because of the minutes, but you don't have to do the minutes. I'll do the minutes.
No, I know, you'll do the minutes, but do you want me to make a list of who's in the meeting?
If you can, if it's not too much trouble.
Okay, I think I can.
I mean, I don't know how, involved you have to be with being a host, so.
Well, hopefully too many people won't show up.
Well, that's what I want to talk to Kara about because people dropped out and nobody told me.
Oh. Huh.
I sent around all kinds of emails today and was surprised on many of them,
Oh, so like.
which shouldn't really happen.
No. The new people, there were a couple of new people on the board.
There are new people. One was put on by mistake. He's on
Uh-huh.
public safety and youth. He didn't want education right now, but
Okay.
nobody told me.
Mhm.
And another one, he has family involvement tonight, so he's not coming. And this Constance Barnes, I don't know who she is, so we'll have to wait and see if she shows up. I'll take attendance later, once people are here.
Okay.
I really appreciate this, Myra, because I don't know how to do it at all.
Oh. You could learn.
Yes, I
It's
could, but
hard.
somebody has to show me. I can't do it just by osmosis.
Yeah. So I have a question before we start. Is there any reason why we start at 7:30 when all the other meetings seem to start at 7?
We have started at 7:30 the entire time that I've been on the board, which is 13 years. And before
Yeah.
that, the other
Oh.
committees have changed it to 7. Do you
Uh-huh.
feel that it should be 7?
I'm gonna
I,
check out.
hi,
All
Rhonda.
right.
Yes, I think it should be 7.
Be well, Howard. Take care of yourself.
You would feel more comfortable?
Yeah.
I'll take a consensus later.
Okay, all right.
I mean, some people
Right.
do work and they don't get home by 7. You know, they want to have a bite to eat or something. That's why I left it at 7:30.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't really, since we're doing it on
What?
Zoom, I
So-
really don't think it's a problem. I mean, all the other committees are meeting at 7 and it doesn't seem to be a problem.
Well, I mean, I'll just say too, 7 matters. It was helpful for me anyway to getting home. I
Right.
did get home late too. So
You
yeah.
would rather do it at
Why'd
7?
you take it?
No, I'm saying on just 7:30 this time frame. It helps with me
Yeah.
because I get home
Yeah.
pretty late. So
I prefer
So no, I
7:30 as well.
yeah.
Okay, I'm
You called
uploading.
you?
Yes.
Sorry.
Had to run out
I'll
the
take,
door?
I'll take a vote later anyway. I'll just break, open it up
Okay.
to everybody.
Oh,
Everybody
before
should have a
Takara.
say.
It was a phone call while I was sitting
No,
here.
Sure.
I never made it on time. No.
Hi, Eric. Thank you for
Hi, good
coming.
evening, everyone.
Hi, Eric.
I didn't expect you so early because you have another meeting.
Yes, so I'm hoping to do this one and hop back onto that one. Like give my, report, answer any questions, and head back to the other. The good news is that it's all virtual, so I can hop back and forth.
I see.
But yes, so if it's possible, I'd love to be the first one to.
And I would like you to be, but we need a few more people.
Okay.
I have to take attendance and then you can get on.
Okay.
Because the other speaker is going to be a little bit late, so that works for you.
I haven't seen the agenda. Who's the other speaker?
Oh, the other speaker is Rabbi Shem Tov with his menorah lighting, the SAPO
Oh. Oh,
application.
Sapo. Yes.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he's coming a little later. So
Very
that
good.
works for you.
Yes.
Either time is okay for me, so whatever you decide. you know.
Yeah, well, I already have two 7:30s, so
Yeah, okay.
we'll see how it goes.
I
Did
mean,
you
if I
get
had an-
my email today, Rum Dot?
I did not. I'm
You did
sorry.
not?
No.
Uh-huh. Because I sent one to you and the same one to Rob. Rob got back to me tonight, late, and I never heard from you. So, I mean, it was a combined email, so you should have been able to have it also. I just wanted to ask if you were still on my committee. That's all.
I am. I'm not gonna
And
leave
I'm
you
happy to
yet.
see that. I'm happy to see that.
How can I leave education?
Okay, Constance is on now. I see. Hi, Constance. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a quorum. I can start. And because Eric came early, I think that we will start so that he can get to his other meeting. I just want to mention that the approval of the minutes I'll do after Eric so that he can start his discussion. First of all, publicly, I want to thank you, Eric. When Laura called me and told me what you had done with the city council money, I really got up and cheered because those are items that one of them, like 37 with the security cameras, has been on for about 7 years. When you were on
Wow.
education, they had wanted it. The previous principal retired. They have a new one now, and they still don't have the system. So that's a great thing. And also, just not to cut into your speech, but also the number 4 on our capital, which is the track for 368, which of course involves Kennedy's mini schools also. But that has been on Mr. Seltzer's lap for a while, and he always said that it would cost around $1 million to repair it. OMB said, no way, Jose. And you came up with it, and I think that's absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. That's just 2
Thank
items,
you.
and there are many more,
There
but
are, yes.
those 2 really got to me.
So when I was, when I was running, I think one of the things I spoke a lot about was working with people, fighting when the time's right to fight, but also working with people to get what needs to get done for our community, for our district. And I think just the budget alone, in a very short amount of time, I'm actually very, very proud of the amount of dollars I was able to get for the district, because I was sworn in April and June was the budget. So it's 2 months to get done everything that needed to get done. So I do want to go over some of the budget items that I was able to get funded. And
Well,
I'll
Is
just,
this me or did it, Eric, your sound cut out?
did my sound cut out?
Is it
No,
just me?
I
Can
think it's
everybody
just you, Myra.
Yeah, no, yeah, we
It's
can
me?
hear you, Eric. So I
You
think
hear
it
me,
might just
okay.
be you, sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Well,
first of
we always work very hard, as you know, to try to put the budget together by sending letters to the principals. They
Yeah.
give us a wish list, and OMB has not, in 13 years that I've been chair, given us a penny. I
right.
have to say that Andy did give us money. He gave some money to 81 for their security systems. But outside of that, once the participatory budget went down, that stopped. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so go ahead in your
Oh,
speech.
so well, it's not really speech. It's just like kind of telling you some of the things I've done and
Hi,
obviously
Eric.
big questions and everything. Hey, Marvin. So first, just thank you for having me. As some of you may know or may not know, I was on Community Board 8, and I was actually on this committee before I chaired the aging committee, but I was also a public school teacher. And I think a lot of people voted for me because I was a teacher, and they knew that I would be putting a lot of energy and effort toward our schools.
We
and
also
one way-
voted for you because you were on the community board and you were head of the aging committee. And a number of
Possibly.
us on this committee are also not so young.
well, yeah, so, but I just want to thank you, Marvin. But I'm just going to talk about CB8 capital projects. It's over $2 million for schools and Community Board 8 for different capital projects. Now, I'm not talking about expense funding. And just to give you a bit of the difference, capital projects are like things you build and lasts a few years, and expenses are for things like after school programs. So it's as Sylvia mentioned, over $1 million for Intech for the track renovation. I know that was on the list, so we got over $1 million for that. $150,000 to RKA for their library, $300,000 to PS37 for their cameras, $300,000 to PS7 for their auditorium, $100,000 to PS24 for their bathroom renovation, and $75,000 to PS95, 168, 207, 344, and 81 for their technology needs. So that's in addition to over $400,000 in programming, like after school program, almost $400,000 for after school programming and digital literacy. All of that is in addition to funding organizations that separately provide educational programming and support for our schools, like Kingsbridge Heights Community Center, like the Riverdale Y, in addition to our senior centers, in addition to hundreds of thousands of dollars for our business districts and community centers. That programming, it ranges from arts education to dance classes, to music classes, to literacy, historical education of the Bronx, horticulture projects, and much more. So while securing these millions of dollars for our community and schools, it's an important step, and we need to keep investing dollars in our schools. We also have to make sure that the DOE is actually functioning well as a city agency, that they're a working partner so our schools can reopen safe and equitably. So I sit on the education committee, and I think that, so usually they give council members, if you're not the chair of the committee, 5 minutes to speak on a topic, but the chair usually lets me go a lot longer because he knows my history, relationship with the DOE, my history as a teacher. And so I try to be very specific but pointed with the DOE and hold them accountable and ask what the plans are. And so this is before reopening, making sure they have adequate supply of PPE. So when they come in and say, oh, we have spare PPE, we have spare masks, we have surplus of masks, we have 1 million extra masks. I look at them and say, 1 million? There are 1.1 million kids in our school system. That's maybe a day extra PPE for our kids. Tomorrow we're having another hearing on oversight about the academic recovery plan. But I encourage everyone here to sign up for my email list and to follow me on social media and to tune into those hearings, because that's really when we get to ask the DOE questions. And some of the things I've been urging them to do is around COVID specifically, is around testing. So for example, when kids and families come back from Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, President's Week, Passover, to have more robust testing, because that's when kids are traveling and with different people and family and different friends. And that's when you may potentially see more spread of COVID. You know, I'm urging them, trying to push them to make a plan now for if there's a vaccine mandate for children. I've been pretty clear, I think, on my feelings about vaccine mandates. I'm in favor of them, But I think some of the problems that we're running into as a city is that you announce a vaccine mandate after school already starts or right before school starts and make a deadline. Meanwhile, these things are being heard out in court. They're being arbitrated with the union and the city. And it makes it very hard for a school system to adapt, for families and teachers and faculty to adapt and to plan. One of the problems I've been pressing the DOE on, and they've been subsequently been newspaper articles about this, is that there have been a number of paraprofessionals who have not been vaccinated, have not made the vaccine mandate. There have been a lot of paraprofessional absences. And so what you have one of two things. You have people filling those roles who are not trained or qualified for those positions, or doing things they shouldn't be doing, like changing diapers. Or you have special needs kids, because paraprofessionals are typically for kids with special needs, who aren't being serviced. And that's in addition to the teachers who are being asked to cover classes out of license long-term or being pulled from central staff. And some of the central staff they're being pulled from are tech support. And of course, we're using technology so much more in the classes. And so these last minute plans, and this is something I've been talking about since a year and a half ago when COVID started, which is not necessarily that tough decisions need to be made, because I think so many of us understand things happen. The problem is that there's very little communication from the DOE to the city, to the teachers, to the families, to everyone else who works in the school, by the way, people who serve lunch, janitorial staff, school aides, guidance counselors, psychologists, everyone. And so my push to them has been open communication, planning in advance, and communicating those plans to us. And so that's what I'm going to continue to hammer on as these hearings continue to happen. I encourage everyone, by the way, I'll probably say this again, to reach out to my office, to follow me on social media and sign up for my emails, and let me know some of the issues you're seeing, hearing in the community, some concerns you have, because I can potentially bring those questions directly to the DOE. And if I can't directly, I promise you they do inform what I think and how I frame my questions. So it's important that you share that with me. Please share those concerns with me. And if Enzo's, let me just check if Enzo, are you on? I think I saw your name.
Hey.
Lorenzo Manzano is on. He's my constituent advocate. You probably know him already. Enzo, if you could just put in the chat, maybe the sign up link to sign up for my emails.
There's no chat.
Yeah,
There's no chat, Eric.
there's no chat. Okay, well, I'll ask the board to send it out. Just some of the bills, and I'll end with this, and I'll take a couple of questions, and I'll hop back to the other meeting. So one of my first votes, actually, in the city council was a bill that required the DOE to properly disseminate information regarding summer meals to every student, the 3 closest summer meal sites. We speak a lot about food hunger, hunger and food insecurity. A lot of that can be addressed in our schools. I sponsored a bill that would ensure that our school buses are electric by 2035. And the sponsor of a bill that will incorporate animal welfare into school curriculum. And just some of the other bills that I sponsored don't deal directly with schools, but deal with our children. So just better bills that have reporting requirements for ACS, reporting to the council, opening up that information and that data more. Because obviously, I think it goes without saying, but so many of our children who are involved with ACS are struggling for one reason or another. They're going to be struggling more. So having that data helps us address some of the needs we're seeing. And for children in foster care, allowing some of that time to credit toward the time they need in the shelter system so that they can qualify for city vouchers, city rental vouchers. So children who are struggling, as they age out of that system, are more likely able to receive that assistance, helping to, keep those kids who are, then young adults, keep them housed or in more, permanent housing situations. There's a lot I've been doing. I'm trying to focus on education. So I will leave it there and just see if there are any questions or comments, about some of the things that I mentioned.
Eric, one question that I have, which was very disturbing today. I read that the disabled children have a shortage of drivers for their buses. Those are the children that had a problem with the remote learning because they need a one-on-one situation. Now they have no way to get to school, which is another year. So that's 3 years out of their lives. I would love you to find out, if you can, as an oversight or as a item for education, what they're going to do for those children to bring them up to par. It seems like it's an unfair thing to punish them even more than they are disabled and in need of help. So I personally found that very upsetting.
Yeah,
If
so
there's anything that you
there's-
can find out for me, that would be great.
So let me just say very clearly, it's awful. I mean, I wasn't just a teacher, I was a special education teacher, right? Which is, some of our most needy, most high needs children. And as is always the case, they're getting the least. There is a driver shortage. The problem is that the DOE kind of denies this, even though I'm hearing from different community centers, even in our own district, that that there's a driver shortage, forcing them to, in some cases, consolidate routes. And the bus drives for the kids who are even on the bus are so long that some of them are having accidents on themselves, just totally undignified and not getting the help they need. And then, of course, the children who aren't being serviced, just like there's a paraprofessional shortage, not receiving the services. So we're going to continue to press the DOE about this, but they're currently denying that there is an issue. But you are right, there is an issue. I don't know if you want me to call on people, or Sylvia, you want to call on people? I can see their hands up.
I
feel like I'm back in
yeah, I do
class.
see a hand. Ramdad has his hand up.
Hey, council member, how are you?
What's up?
I have a question, also in regards to special education. I know that there were just funds allocated for after school, related service providing, extra support for students with disabilities, but I'm wondering what the contingency plan is. Let's say that schools don't have the staff members available after school to provide, speech and OT and math and English support. So what is the plan moving forward? Will the DOE require parents to do their own outreach for related service providers? I'm trying to figure out what the contingency plan for that is.
You're talking about middle school, high school kids?
Yeah, so there was a bucket of funds
Yeah.
allocated for students with disabilities who needed extra support. And this is for after school, for speech, counseling, ELA, and math support.
Yeah, so we can look into the specific things that now I can look into that more deeply, but I will let you know that every single step of the way, DOE has denied that there's a real problem. So for example, the Summer Bridge program, and I think this is probably the best analogy, is the Summer Bridge program, which was the summer program to catch kids up academically, social, emotionally, was done through nonprofits. So the nonprofits, did that work, and they promised everyone seats. They said there are seats, and there weren't. So I was on the phone with the executive superintendent more than she would have liked, probably. And I always say, I don't know what the line is between annoying and persistent, but I also don't care. I just need the kids to have, my families to have seats in the school. And so they were able to increase the numbers. Unfortunately, what had happened was, I think there were the need was over like 200 seats in between PS24 and 81, and I might be wrong on the number. They started out with 100 seats. They raised it to at least 125. But by the time the program started, too many families had already found other things, or they gave up. And that's not how we should be running a system. We shouldn't be running a system that's based on well, let's just hope families give up. Let's just hope they find their own way. If we're going to provide services and education and support to kids, to families, we got to do it. So we could look more deeply into that, but the staffing issue continues to be a serious issue. And the disconnect between what DOE says at the top and the plans and the programs they have, the disconnect between that and what actually happens on the ground is something that we're trying to drill into their heads. I don't think they see it. And that's why these committee hearings are so important to shedding light on it. And that's why you, collective you, communicating with me before my hearings, even after my hearings, is important so I can advocate on behalf of you. This is true for programming. This is true for funding. This is true for garbage cans on the corner, right? Like you tell me, street's dirty, we get our cleanup crew there, right? So that's key for me is communication. And Ram, that we should talk offline about some of those details.
Yeah, of course, because I teach at RKA, and we got an email saying that this is for licensed, teachers in these fields. So I'm a licensed special ed teacher. So I got that, memo. I know the people for mandated counseling and our speech and our OT also got the email. So we're just wondering, like, what is that plan for if we don't have teachers who are willing to stay or related after school per diem for this program? What happens to our kids?
Yeah, sorry, my child is climbing on a bicycle. It's no training wheels, so he's just standing on a 2-wheel bicycle. I hope you don't get hurt, buddy. Well, it's not. Okay. Yeah, that's the DOE for you. They think that throwing money at the problem, like they may have allocated funds for teachers, which is an important step, but it doesn't always answer the question. I want to move on to Marty and then Moses.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks, Ramdat.
I'm slightly off
Moses?
subject.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think Marty was first. Yeah, and then I'm happy to go. So yeah.
Sorry about that, Marty.
I'm slightly off topic. If Moses wants to go first, that's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I am still, I guess, still on topic generally, but I think thanks, Marty. And thank you, Councilman. I think the question I have is more about coordination with DOE and the school construction, because part of what we kind of learned over this past year, right, is that it kind of get exacerbated this idea that we're tight, we're cramped in, and so there's a dynamic of we were worried about spacing because there was just not enough physical space for the students in the classroom. Has there been more talk now, kind of re-engaging about expansion for about schools or building of new or
I'm sorry,
spaces?
Moses, I hear your question. Would you hold on 1 second though?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so your question was about finding new space for students. Did I get that right?
Yeah, and I feel like for a lot of the issue in our community board, it's about expanding the existing space, especially I think 24 has been asking for that for a while. In general, I guess probably it's more about building new space too to handle that.
I'll give you an example. There are different, and I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you got it. Yeah.
There's kind of a couple of avenues. One is finding the space. There's School Construction Authority. How much do I get this? Let's put it this way. They're looking for space to build in our community. So that's one. But the other is I, as a council member, hey, Jesse, would you please close the door? It's, thanks, bud. An example, and this isn't a project that I've taken a position on. I'm using this as an example of a component of the project that is important. This is in Wakefield. There's a developer who wants to build, it's pretty big. It's a pretty big development. I don't believe it meets the requirements for needing a new school, but there's going to be enough kids there and there's overcrowding in the community already. So what they're doing is leaving space for on the property for a school to be built. And the reason why a council member in that for that particular development, which again I have not taken a position on, could have leverage is because it has to undergo the ULURP process. So for those of you who've been on the board, you know, it has to, this project would have to go through the board, then through the borough president, and then the council would vote on it. They would typically vote how I vote, right? They would typically vote how the local council member votes. So for some bigger developments, that's an example of a way that I, as a council member, can leverage that space for school or school seats. But there is active efforts to build new space for students. I often feel there is a disconnect between land use and development and the seats in a school. Like a lot of little buildings don't meet the threshold, but add them up and they're going to continue to overcrowd our schools, and our schools are all overcrowded. I don't know if that answered your question. Did it answer your question?
Yeah, no, thank you. Mhm.
Yeah, Moses, I was going to announce later on. However, the land use meeting is meeting on November 1st, and School Construction Authority is coming
Oh, wow, okay.
about a possible site for a school at Visitation on West 238th Street off Broadway. You might want to join that meeting.
Oh, for sure. Thank you, Sophia. Really
Yeah. And I wasn't sure if that was what I was alluding to. I wasn't sure where that was in the process. So
okay.
It's on the agenda, so.
Got it.
Please, yeah, please go to that meeting and make your, you know, I told them some of the needs that are going to come up from the community, some of my needs, things that I think need to be addressed as council member. Marty.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
My question is more city council, even though my connection is education. There's a hearing on Thursday. I hope my materials will help you and to help us with this nonsense with the change of the health plans for seniors.
So same thing. This is so just to let everyone here know, the unions and the city. The shortest version I can give is the unions and the cities. In order to do what they called cost savings, was to change the retirees' health benefits, the supplemental benefits to Medicare Advantage. I've received a number of concerns, complaints, emails about this from constituents. And again, this is very helpful to me because it helps me address this at the city council. And this includes retired teachers whose health benefits are set to change based on this agreement. So that is the Thursday, that is the hearing topic, and that is something that I'm going to bring up. If you have thoughts on it or concerns, again, email my office, follow me on social media, all that. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, Marty. Are there any other questions before I go to this other thing?
I want to thank you again for all of you that you're doing for the schools. It is really a great change, and I hope you'll be able to continue doing it in the future.
I hope so too. And I'm
You care so much about it. You care
It's
so
my
much
job
about
for
what
14
you do.
years.
It's amazing. You know, something else with the school buses, a lot of the kids, granted they can soil their clothing and stuff, but a lot of kids have medical problems and they can't ride on the bus more than a certain amount of time. And there've been cases in schools that I worked in where they've been brought to, to court or whatever about it, because some of the kids are really sick and they have shorter rides.
Yeah.
You really need to do something about it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you everyone for having me. And
Thank
I'm
you.
around
Thank you for
anytime
coming.
you want me. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Regards.
Eric, I think all of your experience as a school teacher certainly helps on the city council for all of the problems involving schools and school children.
I think Eric left, Marvin, but I'll make sure to let him know your kind words. Thank you.
Okay.
Rabbi Shem Tov, I'm sorry that kind of cut into your time. Rabbi
I'm
Shem
gonna
Tov
make
is
sure we get
here.
there. We're getting excited about
We
that.
have a resolution that we need to pass for a SAPO application, which he has requested to celebrate the Hanukkah menorah lighting on December 5th. And he is asking for a full street closing on West 239th Street. Oh, you're putting it up, great.
No, I'm doing something else. I just realized that it's a
Okay,
mistake.
yeah, so this is the resolution that I put together. Closing West 239th Street between Henry Hudson Parkway and Riverdale Avenue. The street will be closed from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. and it's been held successfully several previous years. I do have a question on the application, Rabbi.
Yes.
On it, it said that the location was not validated. Is that because they didn't mention the Riverdale Avenue?
I didn't see that it wasn't valid. I think what happens is they wait for the Parks Department permit. There's like 4 things that they wait for. And also they wait for you, for the community board to okay it before they confirm. But I need to let you know, sorry for interrupting, I need to let you know there was 2 mistakes on this. Number 1, it's November 28th, which is the first Sunday of Hanukkah. This year
December
Hanukkah-
5th, right?
No. This year Hanukkah is on November 28th is the first night, and December 5th is the last night. The party that we do the day that we close the street is actually November 28th. I'm not sure why they had December 5th. So that's
Okay,
number 1.
that's a date that was on the application.
Okay, so
So you might
I
have
spoke
to
with
get
them.
in touch with them to correct it.
I did. As soon as I saw it, I called them.
So
they
it's
corrected
been
it.
corrected?
Yeah,
So it's November 25th,
November 28th.
28th?
Yeah.
Okay,
this
I'll
is a
change
Sunday.
it before we we'll vote on it at the general meeting. I'm glad that you corrected that.
And also,
I
it's
want
not
it to be correct.
It's not 3 p.m., it's 4 p.m.
But that's also on the application, 3 p.m.
Okay,
Do you want to
I'm quite
change that
sure
on there
correct that.
too?
I'll make sure that it's corrected with them also. It's 4 p.m. to 5:15 p.m.
Okay, I'm happy to, it already has been changed. But I took it from the application, so it's
You know,
important that you correct it with them
Yes,
so that our approval or disapproval will coincide with what the information is.
correct. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to share other than that? I know that it's always been very successful and well attended. I know
Right.
that the 50th precinct is kind of monitoring it. They're usually on site, just to make sure everything is fine because that corner, of course, is very active. Outside of that, can you think of anything else you want to tell the committee?
Yes, I just want to mention that although we asked for street closing at 239th Street and Henrietta Parkway, what they end up doing is we worked it out with the 50 precinct that they allow traffic to go on 239th Street because otherwise, it really will cripple the whole traffic over there. The Henrietta Parkway service lane going north when the monument is actually closed and they go around. But 239th Street, what they do is they allow they make like 1 lane or 2 lanes on the side. So if cars are safe and the people are safe and they have barricades. So it really is, we try to minimize the amount of disturbance to the traffic.
Right. Okay.
So,
Just
I
wanna
just have
say-
a question.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. And you'll have to forgive me if my sound keeps going in and out. You've been doing this a very long time, I know. And has it been more than 10 years that you've been doing it?
We
Yes.
started
Yes,
doing it
because my
Yes,
son
yes,
Joshua, who's now
yes.
29, did it. He was
Who?
one of the kids that went up in the menorah,
Your son?
Okay, because I
Joshua
would
Lowe,
actually,
who just had
I
a
would
baby girl.
actually,
That's right.
I
Oh my
would
God.
actually rather this say that this has been held for more than 10 years or more than 15 years, which sounds a little better than just being held in previous years. Wouldn't you think?
Do you want to put a number on it, Rabbi Shamto?
I'll tell you when it started. It started in
Okay.
1993.
Josh was born in 92. So
Okay.
he was about a
We had
year
one
old, year and a
before
half
he-
old.
Before he came. So what year did Josh light the menorah?
Uh, It must have been in 94, maybe 93 or 94. I don't know. But
Wow.
Oliver Copel was there with him,
Yes.
and they
yes.
did it. It was very,
Yes.
it's been lovely every year, but it's just funny
Yeah.
that Josh was one of the first, so
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Very nice. How old is he now?
I believe 29. I lose
Uh-huh.
track. The other son got engaged and he got had a baby.
Oh, beautiful. Mazel
It's a
tov.
great thing. Thank you for doing it.
Sure. Thank you.
So what would you like to have that say, Myra?
Okay, well, I've changed it to this event has been held annually since 1993. Would that be true?
Is that okay with you, Rabbi?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Um,
Okay,
Sylvia, I would like to make a motion.
yes.
Motion to approve the resolution with the added changes of date, time, and the event has been held annually since 1993.
Okay, is anyone, we'll do it around the
Yeah.
other way. Is anyone against approving the
Well-
application?
Well, first, I just want to second that motion from Ramdas, but yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
I just want to second
Moses
it. I want to second the
seconding.
motion.
Oh,
yeah.
you're seconding it. Okay,
Yes.
very good.
Mhm.
So anyone against it? Any abstentions? So it's unanimous. Rabbi, you're on for November 28th.
Thank
Good
you very
luck.
much.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Thank
And
you.
I wish you all the
Thank you.
best.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
Hanukkah, Rabbi.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in person, hopefully very soon.
It's not snowing, you'll see us.
Someone dying is in, well and healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Rabbi,
much.
we want to see you light run a real Hanukkah menorah candles.
Well, it's real fire. I should tell you that. It's actual fire. Don't tell everybody because they'll be afraid, but it's safe, obviously, and it's actual fire. I light it with actual fire.
Okay,
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody.
okay.
Okay.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Night. Thanks.
At this time, let me, before I forget, because sometimes I do, the approval of minutes back in May 25th, which were not approved in last year. I don't know if anyone remembers what was on there, but it had to do with, wait, I have a copy of here. Just to refresh your memory. Oh, about the schools opening in September, that was one of the issues. With some of,
Sylvia, I have it up. Do you want me to share it on the screen?
if you want to.
Oh, I need host, co-host
Oh, okay,
privileges.
wait. Okay, okay. Let me see if this will work. Can you share now?
Let's
I selected
see.
multiple.
Perfect. Awesome. I can actually.
Okay,
Can y'all
these are the
see-
minutes.
Let me know if I'm moving the cursor too fast.
And the fact that no more remote learning was being offered as an option when they opened up in September, which came to pass. And then we spoke about the mitzvah project, which has not gone forward yet, but will soon be addressed. And excited about that.
Oh, good.
And we talked about new topics for consideration for the fall. And that's about it. So Do I have a motion to approve the minutes
So
or
moved,
any
so
corrections?
moved, So moved.
So moved. Any
Second.
second?
Second.
Okay, I'll go around the same way. Anyone against? And any abstentions? Okay, it passed.
Unanimously.
Unanimously, it passed. We're moving right along. One thing that I wanted to mention, not that it has any bearing on what we can do about it, but I didn't want to bring it up with Eric because there's just so much that they can do with DOE, as he says. They are not responsive even to the council, so it's a terrible thing. But I heard today that the chancellor has a robo call going to parents because parents are not sending their children to school. That is not something that is being publicized. There are a lot of things that aren't being publicized, and DOE is getting away with it, even with the council, as you heard from Eric. It's very disturbing. Nothing we can do about it. I can't do anything about it. He can't do anything about it. But hopefully, when we
complain.
go around and we have a new mayor,
We can
Um,
complain.
we can complain, but that's not good enough, Marvin.
Okay.
The mayor might pick a different chancellor. Maybe things will change, just like both candidates for mayor are for gifted and talented, which the present mayor has put in the dumps. And they are both in favor of it. So there will be things moving in a better direction, I hope. And we have to keep our ears and eyes open for changes that are going to be coming down the road. And hopefully they will be good for the children. I just wanted to mention that, get it off my chest. Library report, Peter? I'm so happy you're here.
Peter, you're on mute.
No, he's not on mute.
Can't hear him.
I
You can't hear
can't.
me?
No, I
Now
can't
I
hear
can
him.
hear you.
No. Okay.
You hear me
I
now?
think,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Peter.
Something with
Now
my-
we can
something with my
see you. We can see you and I hope we can hear you.
You know how these headphones are with these, wireless. Anyway, sorry we couldn't show up to last meeting. We had a mix up in terms of who was scheduled to attend, so we'll have somebody at every meeting moving forward. So the big news, I'm hoping everyone has heard, is that we will no longer be charging fines. We just announced that about 3 weeks ago. Moving forward, we wanted to ensure that everyone had equitable access to libraries, and we realized that fines in some instances kept people from the library because they just couldn't afford them. So we've decided to get rid of them, and we're the largest public library to do so. We're very proud of it. We're hoping that more and more families feel welcome and want to come back to libraries if they've been staying away because of fines. If you guys want to know the process, I'm sure people are quite. I'm knowing Marvin, I'll probably get the question. So what happens now with like late books and things like that? So I'm prepared to let you guys know that. So essentially, if you return an item late, you won't be charged for it. Now, if you've had the item for your 3 weeks or 2 weeks, depending on the length of time that you have the item checked out, and you go 30 days or more after it was already due, we put a charge on your record for the item itself. Now, if you return the item, that charge comes off your record and you're good. If you unfortunately lose the item or are unable to return the item, then you just pay for the item straight out. The key point we want to make to people is, as long as you return your items, you will not be charged for anything. Anybody have any questions about that?
No,
Okay.
I'm one of those people.
It's very helpful to people. Sometimes you just didn't have time to make it to the library, and then all of a sudden 3 days passed, and you're like, oh man, I have a 60-cent fine, or or DVD, a $9 fine for DVD. You don't have to concern yourself with that anymore. But just please return your items. In terms of the branches, we just had a welcome week. It was a week where we were telling people, hey, we're here. Welcome back to us if you haven't been coming to us. And we gave out some fun goodies. We had some special programming. We had, like, at my branch, we had a table with free books, free bags for adults and free bags for children. It was very well attended and people enjoyed it. I think we're going to work on something like that in the future as well. Like, like we constantly want to keep welcoming back our communities, because we know because of COVID, a lot of people aren't using the library like they used to. In terms of programming, we've actually added at Van Cortlandt some more adult programming. We got a new staff member, and he's really trying to help our adult community. So he's added a lot of classes for technology, specifically for seniors, for anyone, but specifically for seniors and for Spanish speakers. He's actually working on an adult like coloring program, like to suit, for mental health and to give people a place to gather and talk with each other again. We still have our children's read alouds and things like that. We're working on adding some more teen programming. We have a few teen programs that we do, like our teen block party, which is in the branch. Don't worry, we don't need any clearance for that. And that's about it.
Okay, two things I want to add, which are not immediately in the libraries, but Eric gave money to the Marshall branch for their roof repair, which is needed. And also when we had our budget hearing at our general meeting, Amir was there from downtown, and he said that the Spuyten Duyvil Library, who has a new manager, is going to be rehabbed. So that is a very exciting thing. I know that that is something that the community has been waiting for, because like yours was, it's very small. The children are in one end and the adults at the other. And they do have the space on the sidewalk so that they could expand if that's what they're going to do. I don't know the floor plan or anything like that, but there are a lot of possibilities. So that's really something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The city's
So
really
you all are
taking care of
doing a real
libraries.
great job,
Thank
as
you so
usual.
much. Please, you guys are our advocates in the community. Remind people that we're here. We want people using the libraries again, because a lot of people don't even know that we're like reopened, and that you can use a computer, you can browse. All you have to do is wear a mask, and you can be in a library. So I'm just asking that you all advocate for us and just remind people, hey, the library's open if you want to stop by, grab a book.
People should
use the computer.
try to get on the mailing list, on the NYPL.
Oh
mailing
yeah,
list.
we have pretty much anybody who signs up for a card in our branch gets on the mailing list, but yeah, sometimes people put us in spam, and unfortunately.
Well, thank you very much, Peter, for coming out tonight,
Of course, of
representing
course.
all of you. And I know
Thank
that
you.
you're all working very hard to get it back to some kind of norm.
Mhm. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Anything new on cultural affairs? I know that some of the local like the Botanical Garden and some of the other institutions
I think Wave Hill.
have gotten funding for extra programs and such. I don't have, it was in the Riverdale Press. I didn't bring the article with me, so I can't really quote it in general, but they're out there. The big brother is watching, and they are trying to get the cultural institutions back on track.
Right. The Bronx Council on the Arts has several grants, and actually the Riverdale Art Association is applying for a grant to do workshops and stuff. So we'll see what happens. That'll be applied for by the end of the year. And these will be workshops going into 2022. The Art Association is planning in January to start exhibiting in person, first with Riverdale Yonkers Ethical Culture, and hopefully our other venues will be able to exhibit at. And we still have our virtual shows. There's a new show called Autumn Abstractions that I'm working on the video actually, and it'll be up hopefully within 2 weeks. So I'll let everybody know when that's up.
Great.
The Riverdale
That's great.
Choral Society is, the plan now is to start back rehearsing in January. And a lot of vocal choral organizations have started rehearsing now for December concerts. We just felt we didn't want to take the chance, and we were also concerned that our audience would not feel comfortable being in an enclosed place until we were sure about what will happen. So, but we're definitely planning to start up in January, and hopefully,
That's
fingers
great.
crossed, things will go from there. Sylvia, I wanted to get in touch with Roger Grunwald about the Mitzvah project. Did you have any information on that I could give to Roger? Or?
No, but I offline, I want to talk to you about it because I have 2 schools in mind. I don't know if we can do an in-person meeting or we should do a Zoom meeting. Is he still in the Bronx?
No, he's
Went back
in
to
San Fran-
California?
Yeah, he's in California.
Oh, so it has to be a Zoom.
Right. But you know, he might be back in New York. I don't know. I can contact him and see.
Well, why don't we
what his
talk
plans
about it
are.
and maybe you
Okay.
can find out and we'll see what direction we go in.
Mhm.
I didn't do anything up till now because the schools were just opening. Things were kind of hectic, and I thought that to introduce something like that at that time was not the right thing. So I want to
Yeah.
kind of pace it so that when we do it, it'll be accepted. I
Right.
don't want it turned down.
Yeah, no, I
Ramat?
totally agree. I totally.
Ramdat?
I have a quick question. Do we know if Wave Hill or any of the outdoor cultural facilities were damaged by the Superstorm Ida or Hurricane Ida?
Oh, you mean
Do we know-
damage from
No,
the
like if there was
storm?
any
I
damage,
don't
yeah.
know.
Okay.
I have not heard anything about that. I could look into it. I know that there's been so much talk about one of the buildings on Palisade Avenue, which was flooded, and I'm sure you heard about it too, and it was in the Riverdale Press, but I didn't hear anything about the Wave Hill. So I don't know, but I'll find out though. I'll call
I would
them.
I would have yeah. I also think that the elevation probably would have helped a lot. They're geographically situated pretty well in terms of being able to manage runoff. So I think that probably did.
Right.
Whereas the Palisades place at the bottom of a hill, there at the top.
Yeah, below them is probably where the problem was, not up
I would-
the institution itself.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I agree with you, Moses.
Mhm.
But anyway, I will call them up and just inquire and see what they say. Okay, that pretty much takes care of my agenda. Anyone want to bring anything up at this point?
May I just mention that since we were talking about cultural affairs and art, that the senior centers that are in our community, most of them seem to have an arts exhibits. Many of the works are done by the people, who attend the center, and they have classes there and time And then it all gets put together as an exhibit, like the one here on Riverdale, John, what's near me? I forget what street it's on. Johnson Avenue? Yeah, Johnson Avenue. It's on, but the whole wall has paintings done by seniors.
Do they
just wanna-
welcome outsiders to come in to see their
Of course,
exhibits?
yeah, of course.
I mean, because of the pandemic that we're in.
Yeah, during the hours they're open, anyone can come in.
Uh-huh. Well, I'll have to investigate that also. I don't know. I know that the senior centers have the art programs, but I don't know that they're looking for outside people to come in. But I will find out.
Okay,
Thank you, Marvin.
Sylvia, I have one quick thing. Sorry, I don't want to keep this too long. I know that the next administration, which will probably be Eric Adams' administration, is supportive of community schools, which is amazing. However, they have, or the administration or Eric himself, Eric Adams, hasn't necessarily voiced their or support for young adult borough centers. I know we have one here, which is the YABC program. We have one in the Kennedy campus. So I was wondering if we can put together a resolution of support to continue the YABC programs in the next administration as well. And for those that don't know, the Young Adult Borough Centers, also known as YABCs, it's for high schoolers who are undercredited and also at-risk youth, which I also teach at night. And this is a way to get students, their credits, and for students that are close to aging out, helping them get their high school diploma. So I think, maybe for the next meeting, if we can, maybe have a resolution, because we'll know by then the mayoral, the election results. So I don't know what's everybody's thoughts on that, but I would, love to see a resolution in support of our YABC, especially that we have Kennedy right here in our backyard.
Right. You would have to work with me on that because I'm totally uninformed on that. So I have to catch up with you. So we'll
No
work
worries.
on it together for the
Glad
next
to help.
meeting, perhaps.
Perfect.
Would that
Yes,
be
of course.
okay?
Yes, amazing.
Okay.
No, it generally sounds like
But
a good
thank you
idea,
for
though.
bringing it up.
Yeah.
What?
I was just saying, generally sounds like a good idea, though. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. It's something I haven't looked into at all. So it's an interesting thing. And certainly want to help all of the children, regardless of what kind of program it is. Okay. Anything else? Okay, well,
Good
thank you
job.
all for attending and
very
this
nice
was-
meeting,
oh,
Sylvia.
thank you. Thank you. It was our first meeting of the year because of all the holidays in September. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to come out in November and December, but I will try to have a meeting.
I'm sure you're gonna do well for us.
Okay,
You have all these
Thank you.
years, and you will
Okay.
continue to do so.
okey doke. Thank you, Marvin.
Okay.
Okay, then,
Okay.
yeah,
No, I was gonna do a motion to, I guess, to end the meeting.
Motion
adjourn,
to
you're
adjourn.
right. Any
Adjourn,
second?
yeah.
Moses is
Second.
making a motion to adjourn.
I am. yes.
Second.
Okay,
I
well,
second the
thank you all
motion.
for coming and we'll
Thank
see you
you.
soon.
You got
Okay.
it.
Right,
Have a great
everybody.
one, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Okay, nice to
Bye.
Bye
see
now.
you. Goodbye.
bye.
Bye.
Sylvia, I'll send you the list of attendees.
Very good, Sylvia.
Okay,
Okay,
bye. Ending the meeting. Oh, do I have to stop the
I'll talk to you,
recording?
Myra.
What?
Okay, you're gonna cut it down? The recording is off?
I don't know.
Night.
Not yet.
Wait.
Still on.
Oh, stop. Okay, it should be stopped. Okay, we're good.
Good night.
Recording is off.
Okay, night.
It should be off. Stop recording. Stop. Oh.